Wellness Warriors, welcome to this training where we are going to now cover how to create your offer. Now, this is the same process that you go through whether you're in practice or if you're creating an online program. Essentially, you're going to go through this same process, okay? And it's all about taking someone from a problem to a solution. You need to think of yourself in terms of being a solutionist, not just someone who adds ingredients to someone's life, but actually puts all of those ingredients together into a nice, neat solution. That's what people want, and that's what people are going to pay you really well for, and that's what's going to give you a profitable business. Okay, so number one, you need to choose the outcome. So this is where we all begin, okay? This is where you need to define and decide exactly what your clients will have by the time they have finished working with you. Now, in preparation for this, we've done a lot of work on your niche, right? We've gone in and we've looked at who is your target audience, what are the problems they've got, what are the pains they've got. We've already worked through all of this. So now we're up to, okay, what is the specific outcome that my clients will have by the time they've finished working with me? So go ahead and define that. Think about the biggest problems. What are the things they need solved immediately? What possible results could you get them if you tapped into your inner genius? If you could find the results anywhere, no matter what it took, what would those results be? Okay, and then lastly, you're going to decide on the time frame, which is going to be anywhere between a 2-week, which is going to be really on the smaller end of things, all the way up to a 12-week and even beyond. But for the purposes of this right now, we're going to just start with a 2 to 12-week program. So here's an example. If you're a spiritual coach, your outcome for your clients would be you want them to have total clarity around their purpose, okay? It's a really important outcome for you to give your clients. Another one's going to be helping them find deep connection to themselves, okay? Having that deep connection to themselves, feeling grounded, knowing who they are and knowing what they need as individuals. Having a deep connection to source, right? And the power force which is holding this universe together, having a deep connection to that. Finding a deep connection to the people in their lives, okay, so the other people around them, their intimate relationships and their friends and extension society at large, and living from a place of love where they know exactly how to dissolve their fear at will. Okay, these are all examples of outcomes. These are tangible benefits that someone can say, yes, I have this, or no, I don't have this, at the end of your program. So once you've done that, you know the outcome you want people to have, then you want to choose 3 to 9 principles that you want to focus on, okay? So 3 to 9 principles, you need to break this down into what it's going to take to get them these outcomes. So you might just have 3 principles you work through, or 3 modules, okay? And you can represent this visually with a shape. And I actually want you to draw this into a shape so that you can get visual now and you can start to create structure, because structure is a very visual thing. Like an architect designing a house, you need a blueprint, so you need to actually draw this or be able to clearly see it before you create it. So choose those 3 to 9 core principles, and then once you've chosen them, you're going to create this shape. So it could be a square if it's 4 principles, could be a circle if it's, you know, a big round process which has multiple spokes coming out of it. Could break that up into 9 pieces. That would be in 9 principles, or 3, for example, as your triangle. So each corner of the triangle has a different principle. So one could be, you know, awareness. One corner could be awareness. Another one could be acceptance. Another one could be manifestation. Again, using the spiritual coach example. Or if you're let's say you're a massage therapist and you're creating some kind of process to how people come in and get massage done, then of course you follow a process, right? As a massage therapist, when someone comes in, you first need to be aware of what's going on in their body, okay? You need to be aware, listen to their body, find out what's going on. Secondly, you need to then figure out where they want to be, okay? Why this is a problem, what it's holding them back from. And then thirdly, you need to do the work, okay? So do the actual massage work on them. And this could be a process of 2 to 4 weeks. You know, it's entirely up to you how long you feel this should take. And then lastly, it is testing and measuring, or jumping back into this initial stage, diagnostic stage, awareness of where they were, and testing and measuring where they are now to check that they're up to scratch and they've met this place of exactly where they want to be. So that's how you think about this whole process. So secondly, we want to jump in and create our actual shapes. So secondly, we want to jump in and actually start to draw this so we can get a clear idea of what this looks like. So once you've got your ideas, then go in and create some kind of image. So here, for example, I've got an example of a spiritual coach, okay, and I've just used an image of a spiral, right? And you might want to create some kind of 9-module process here with a spiral. I'm just going to make this a bit bigger. You might want to do 9 modules. And your shape is a spiral. So they start off learning about themselves, learning how to nurture themselves, right? As a spiritual coach, this is what you're teaching them. Then they spiral out into others, because we can only fill up others' cups if we fill our own first. And then they're going to spiral back out into self again, because as they learn to serve others more, they need to grow, and to grow, they need to nurture themselves more. And then they'll have the capacity to serve others more, okay? And then they need to nurture self again, and then they can help more people. So that's what it could look like. That's just an example of your shape. Let's do another one now. So another one could be, as I said, the square. And you could have 4 modules here. So the first module, the outcome, you might want people to have awareness. And then the second one might be their desire. The third one could be the practice.
Yeah. What is?
And the fourth one could be actually being. Okay, so how do you think about this? Well, you think about this in terms of the following. They've got a problem on this side. Okay, we're just going to draw this up. So they've got a problem, and this is up here, and then you're going to give them an outcome. So your mission with your program is to get them from problem to outcome. So then you think, okay, what's it going to take from there for them to get awareness of the place they're in their life? If they're in a spiritually dark place, or they've got a problem in their body, what is it going to take to get them from this problem to this outcome? Okay? And that's what you build your first module around. How to take them from one place to another place. Okay? So your second module is all about how to get them clear on their desire. So once they're aware of the issues they're facing, then getting them to the place where they know exactly with clarity what they actually want. So whatever you do, what you're trying to do is take them from their problem to their outcome. So list off all the different ways you can do that. Okay, then the third module for this example of a 4-module program would be how to take them from the problem, which is they don't know how to practice the principles of getting themselves to their desire, which could be, meditation, it could be nurturing self, it could be exercising regularly, it could be nurturing relationships. How to get them from this problem they don't know what to do to then giving them the outcome. So list off all the things that you can do to make that happen for them, to show them, to teach them how to get that outcome, how to do that practice. And then lastly is being. So once they've implemented the practices, they're now in a place where they can just learn to simply be and continue this whole process. Continue doing all of this, because this is more of a cycle than something that just stops. But you might teach them this over a 4-week period, but it just keeps going round and round. Okay. So that's how it looks, and for each of these you need to do a brainstorm, okay? How can I get my clients the results they're looking for? List off all the different ways that you can do this. Take them from problem to outcome. List. Just dump it all on a page and get it out so you know exactly what you're doing for them. So we're just going to go back now and come up with another example. Another one could be, let's say it's a triangle. Let's say you've got 9 modules or 9 different principles that you want to take your clients through. So you could draw it like a triangle, right? And you start at the bottom. And number 1, let's say you're a nutritionist. Number 1 would be, let's look at where they're at with their nutrition right now. Okay? So let's just do a different color again. So look at where they are now. That's module 1. Module 2 is, okay, so this is what they're eating, what their practices are. Module 2 is where they want to be. So this is where they identify clearly where they want to be. Because without having that desire there, they're not going to have the momentum to be able to follow through and take all of the steps which you're going to lay out. The next would be, okay, what do they need to do first? Well, maybe they need to accept where they are now and love themselves, because they're not going to have change without accepting and loving themselves. 4 might be, okay, how do we change, or how do we give them awareness of the fundamentals of good eating, healthy eating? Okay, what does that actually look like? And then 5 would be lifestyle design. So this is where they go in and they actually design how they're going to do meal planning, how they're going to go shopping, and how they're going to build or design their life so that all of this stuff is really easy. So that's how you would design your program if you were a nutritionist, for example. So I want you to now go and come up with whatever that model is for your individual business, because getting that right to start with is where you'll build everything from. That's the foundation of how you create a strong structure for your program. And once you've got this, you'll know how long to make it, because you'll be able to identify, okay, it's going to take me 7 weeks to teach them this, or it's going to take me 9 weeks to get through all 9 of these modules. Generally, you want to have 1 to 2 weeks per module, okay? 1 to 2 weeks to implement this change in your client's life. And again, if this is an offline, if this is in your practice, you want to structure this about 1 week per process that you're taking them through. Okay, so once we've done that, we can then tie it to our individual service or our individual business type, the outcome that we're giving them. So spiritual coach, you can see here I've tied it to this spiral model, this 9-week spiral model. So guys, go ahead and create that shape, because that's going to help you get super clear on exactly how long it's going to take, what's going to be involved, what's going to be included in the program, which is going to break your clients through to the outcome that they're wanting to get.